So thank you for joining our free online lesson. Right, so welcome Lee UNC, Long Hyo Weng, Om Haikal, Mazam, Roland, Yoto, and Mr. Waitiko. Right, so welcome to our free online lesson for today. So my name is Nabil Fikri bin Shaizan, and I would like to present you on the AutoCAD 3D animation. So I would like to share you on how you can animate using the AutoCAD. Right, so I hope my internet connection is clear, so we can proceed now. Right, so welcome, Joachim. Okay, so this is basically what we are going to learn today, right, on this 3D animation. So the first one, we're going to take a look on the animation viewing, right? So just basically a view animation. So this is quite simple, right? So we're not going to focus much on this. The next one, we have animation movement. So this is quite complicated. So we're going to focus more on this animation movement because inside of AutoCAD, you don't have uh, the tools to move, but rather we have to use a scripting method in order to animate our model. Right, so I will proceed with my AutoCAD. So I hope you can see my AutoCAD over here. Now, first of all, I'm going to share with you on the first animation, which is the animation for viewing purpose. Right. So right now, what you can see over here is that I'm using 3D modeling space. Right. So you can toggle over here. Right. So if you're using the normal 2D, which is drafting interpretation, and you want to change into 3D, so you can drop down and select the 3D model. All right, so this is basically a model that we are going to use for doing the animation today. Now, the first one, like I said before, we're going to take a look on the animation view. All right, so to go to the animation view, you can go to Visualize tab over here. And you can see there are some tools over here. And they should have this animation ribbon over here. All right, so by default, animation ribbon does not show up. All right, so if it does not show up for you, so you can right click on this panel over here and go to show panel and make sure to enable the animation. Otherwise, you won't see the animation panel. So you right click over here on the blank space. So go to show panel and animation, and it will show you the animation for viewing purpose. So for animation for viewing purpose, so we have two methods. So one is the walk and also fly animation, and the other one is animation view by using the animation motion path. Now, so to make it less boring, so I'm going to create a copy of this. Just to make this space is right. So let's say I have a few model over here. Now, so next one is I would like to animate my views. So first of all, we're going to take a look on this walk and fly animation. So before we go here, we can also adjust the setting first on this walk and fly settings. So click over here and you can see that there are some other settings that you can adjust from here. So such as at the below here is this the speed of your walk, which is you control by using the drawing units or the steps per seconds. All right, so I'm just going to set this as this one, and I'm going to press OK. Then I can directly select either of these. So I'm going to use walk. So I click walk, and right here you can see that it shows me this camera view angle. So if I try to move my angle, as you can see, it is actually shown over here. Now, if I zoom in over here, I can also see some of these models in front of this on this camera over here. Now, let's try to move. So I'm going to use my WASD for walk movement, right? So W, which means stand for front, right? So you can see it is animating walk movement on the front over here. Right, but it is quite slow, so I'm going to go into my settings. So let's say I'm going to increase it into 40 and the drawing units. Okay, so let me see. Okay, so the maximum will be 30. So I'm going to put it at maximum 30 and I'm going to increase the drawing units, let's say about 100. Right, so I'm going to press OK and I'm going to use back my walk, and you can see it is actually much faster than below. Right, or I can just simply increase more on this drawing unit. So let's say 100s. Right, so welcome YKU. Right, so walk in. Okay, so you can see it is much faster than before. Now, if I want to record it, so I have this recording button over here. So I can click this record button and start to move around and recording the views of my movement over here. Once done, I can just simply select pause animation and I can directly play, so I can see the movement of my the movement that I have done before. Right, so I can also change my view. For example, if I want shaded, so it will show you the shaded view. Right, so I also have this walk fly animation, so basically almost the same, but I have more ability freedom to move up and down. Right, so that is walk and fly animation, which you can record from here. So the next thing that we have is the animation motion path. Right, so basically this is also for viewing purpose, view animation, but it is much more better to use from because it is actually stayed by using a path. Right, so before we using this one, so I'm going to create a path first. So for that, I'm going to go to the home tabs and I'm going to draw my path using a spline. So let's say there a spline over here. So on the surface, so we have spline, and the spline will be my path. For example, so I'm going to press enter. Okay, so so this one have some problem over here. So let me readjust this one. Okay, or I just draw directly from this top view. Right, so I have my path. Now I'm going to go back to my views. Oh, sorry, to my visualize and animation motion path. So click over here. So we have two options that we can use. So one which is the camera, and the second one will be the target. So the first one, which is the camera movement. So this will indicate the movement of your camera. So you can select the point, or you can also select path. So for this case, I would like my camera to move on the path. So I will select this path over here. And the second one will be my targets. So if I have another path, I can also use path, but I just want to use point. So which means the target for my camera will be focused on certain point. So I'm using my point, and I'm going to choose, let's say, this one. So it will directly focus on this area. So once I'm done that, I can just click preview, and it will show the movement of my camera over here. Right, so it is a bit fast. I'm going to reduce a little bit on the number of frame. Let's go with 5 and preview again. Okay, so this one is, okay, so I believe this one I needed to increase. Okay, so the 5 is actually, right, so again, so what I need to increase, which is this, the duration of this. So let's move into, let's say, around 10 seconds. So I'm going to preview, and you can see it is much slower. So if I want to make another one, which is I can also use to follow a certain path. So let's see, okay, all right. So if I go back to my visualize, and I can set my motion to the path over here. And also my target will be following a path as well. So I can hit, right, so change my duration first. Right, so about 20 seconds. So I can hit preview and you can see it will follow the path of this camera. You can see the camera is moving on this path over here. Right, so I just need to change the target much more. Right, so this is basically just for animation viewing purpose. Right, so we're going to go to the next one, right? Right, so welcome Won WF. Right. Okay, so we can continue to the next one. All right, so I don't need too many of this, so I'm going to delete it. I'm just going to need this one model over here. All right, so let's move it a little bit. Okay. Now, before we start to animate the movement of this object over here, so let's go with the basic first. So I'm going to go with the blank page over here. Now, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to show you two methods, sorry, not two methods, but two types of movements, which is one is the movement, and the second one will be the rotation movement. Okay. Now, so let's say I'm start with a simple one. So let's say I have this particular pointer of arrows that I would like this arrow to rotate. Now, to rotate this one, we don't actually have a certain button or tools over here. So we're going to use a scripting method. So the script methods you can see on this on the manage tab. So we have the run script. So to create a script, so we can actually create a script on this notepad. So I'm going to go to my Windows and open a notepad. Right. Okay, and then I can start to create my scripting the movement from here. Now let's take a look on this sample one first. So I have created some samples. So I have this movement test. This is the script for the movement. So you can see it is actually quite simple. Not many things that you need to enter from here. So what I needed to do is that, first of all, I needed to, for this case, which is the movement, right? So first of all, I can type in the command, which is move, right? And the second one, it will ask you for the group. So you need to create a group and the name of the group. So it will ask you to move on which group, right? The next one will be this movement, right? The location of the movement. So this one will be the first point, the first movement, and the second one will be the end of the movement. So this coordinate will be moving to this coordinate. And the end, you needed to type RSCRIPT, which is stand for R script, and this will allow you to run this as a script. Right, so this is basically a movement. So another one, I also have this the rotate method. Now the rotate method is also quite simple. So first of all, I needed to run the command which is for rotates, and you ask me to select a group. So G is for group, and this one is the group name that I will need to enter. And after that, it will ask me the coordinate which the rotation point will be taken, right? So this will be my coordinates, which I needed to enter. The next one will be the rotation angle, right? Which be the speed of your movement. All right, so again, lastly, end with the R script. And if you see over here, I add another enter over here. So if I press the escape key, there's no enter over here at the bottom. But if I just end on this R script, it will stop over here. So I want it to rotate infinitely. So I press another enter. So it will have this blank over here. So it will rerun back the rotation over and over again. So I'm going to save this one. So before I save, that one is just a sample. So we're going to create a new one. So first of all, to create a script, I open my notepad over here. Now, so the first one we want to do is the rotation method. So I type the command rotate. Right, now press enter. And the next one, I would like to select the object that I want to rotate, which is we will be using the group method. So G for group method, and then press enter again. Right, so this one will be the name of my group. So I can type any of the name as long as I enter the name correctly on my group. So let's say I'm just going to name this one as, say, 0, so 0, 0, 1, 1. So this will be the name of this. So the next one will be the coordinates of my points. Right. So going back to my AutoCAD, so we needed to find back the point, right? Sorry. It is. Right. So I needed to find the point for the rotation. So this will be the point. So I needed to find the coordinate from here. To run the coordinates, so you can type in, to search for your coordinates, so you can type in command ID, press enter, and specify the point, and it will show you the coordinate for your point. So drop down over here to see the point, so we can copy from here. So I only need the coordinates, so I don't need the X and Y, I just need the number only. So I'm just going to copy over here and paste it over here. So I have the first coordinate, which is the X, and also the Y. Now, on between these two, so I needed to have a comma. So we have the first coordinate X, and the second one will be the Y. So moving to the next one, right? So if I open again, so the next one that we need to do, which is the speed of this rotation. So in this case, I only put as -1, right? So whether you can put negative or positive, right? So let's say -1, right? So negative will allow your movement to rotate clockwise. But if you want to counterclockwise, so you can just leave it as a positive. So let's say I'm just going to put as 1 degree and press another enter and run another command, which is the R script. Right? So the R script, RSCRIPT, and I'm going to save this one. So let's say I save as, okay, so this location. So I'm going to rename this one as, let's say, my rotate, and the text for this is, so I needed to change the file types into SCR. Right, so SCR, which is stand for script, and it will save you with this similar file like this, right? .scr, which is script. So save it, this one, and now I have my rotate script. Now let's try to test. Now, if I go back to here, so first of all, I needed to run group first, right? So I forgot to group. So press G for group command, press enter, specify the name first. So the name that I indicate before, which is 0011, if I'm not mistaken, press enter and select this one as a group. Now I can run my script. So select my rotate over here and open, and you can see it is now actually run the script. Now it does not move because it only move on, it's only move on 1 degree. So let's say I put around 45 degree and save. Now if I open back again, so let me close this one first. So if I open back again and run again my script, my rotate, so you can see it is moved 45 degree. So again, I need it to run infinitely. So moving back over here, make sure to enter a space at the below over here. So it will rerun again and again and again. So run the script again, rotate. So it will run and it will not stop. Okay, so press enter. So I'm going to reduce back into, let's say, -1, which is clockwise rotation. And then I'm going to run my script. Right. So this one should able to move 1 degree. It is actually moving, but my screen or my AutoCAD actually skip a few degrees because of my graphic card. So depend on your graphic card or your AutoCAD graphics, it will move very smooth. It should move smooth. Okay, so that is for rotation. Okay, so let's take a look on the movement. Right, so the movement, so I have this one over here. So run the move command and G for group and run another, the name of this group. So let's say I create this group again. Let's say the same name because I already created the group before. And I can select the movement. So this one will be the first coordinate, the point that it will be moving from, and the second one will be the moving after. Right, straight and press enter. So save this one and open again, and then here I can rerun back again. So the M test over here, which will be the movement. So when I open this one, so it is actually moving. So it should able to move smooth like I mentioned before, but because of my probably because of my drawing is a little bit simple, that's why it move infinitely. You should be able to see this much clearer if we try to rotate the 3D movement. Before we do that, so again, we're going to take a look on the sample one first. So let's start to, I'm going to copy this one. So because this, oops, yeah, let me change my view first. Okay, all right. So I'm going to copy this wheel, and I'm going to paste it over here, shade it with the edges. Okay, so right now we already have this one. So I'm going to rerun back the test. So the group already been named. So we already using the group before. So for this case, I'm going to create a new group. So I'm going to run or G as for group, press enter, name, let's say the new name, let's say 100 or A1. Okay, so A1, press enter. So select the group. So this will be my group. Press enter again. Now we have our group. So I'm just going to rename my group into A1, right, and save this one. So go back to manage and run my script and see if it's able to move. So you can see it is now able to move. Okay, so I'm going to press escape key over here. I can also rotate if I want. So again, I need to specify my rotation angle over here. So the rotation point. So I'm going to type command ID. So this will be the location for it to rotate. And then I can try to open back my rotate command. Oops, not this one. Just indicate the rotation position. And the name, I name this one as E1. So save this one and let's try to rotate. Right, so run my script, my rotate, and open. So you can see it is now rotating. Okay, another thing is this one still moving very slow because of the graphic issue. So another thing that would assist the movement, which is I can apply parametrics modeling over here. So let's try to apply parametrics. Okay, so I can apply from here. Okay, so let's say if I create a line. Right, so basically I just want to lock this item over here into this line. Okay, so before I do that, I needed to have some point that I can snap to into. So I have my point. So I'm going to rerun back my group. Let me see this group. So I'm going to go to group manager just to add some item into this group. Okay. So that line is now part of the group. All right, so welcome CCW, welcome to our free online lesson. Okay, so we have that. So I'm going to go back again and lock. Okay, never mind. So I just lock over here. So let's say around 3,000. And then I'm going to rerun back my script on this manage. And then I can run my script. So so you can see it is much better movement compared to before. So let's undo that again. And I also want to apply another one. So which is the other parametrics, which is I'm going to lock at this point over here. If for some reason it does not allow me to lock. Okay, just want to make sure that there is a point over there. Right, so rerun my group. So A1, so I'm going to add these two, these three, and okay. So I hope I can lock now. Right, so for some reason it still does not lock over there. Right, so maybe you can skip this one and move forward. Okay, so the next one is, let's say if I want to move something and I want another item to move as well. So for that, we can use a parametric modeling. For example, let me show you one sample over here. So let's say I have this particular box over here. And when I move, let's say when I rotate, for example, I want this one to be applied as well. So for that, we can use parametric modeling. And I'm going to lock this point, and then this one, and also on this point. Right, so and then I'm going to lock at this position, and also I'm going to lock at this position. So if I try to move, right, so you can see it is not actually applied on the other movement as well. Now, so if I try to rotate, so let's try to rotate, and you can see we can rotate from here. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to run the other command, the script command again on this position. So again, I'm just going to press ID plus over here. So I have my ID. and I'm going to edit my rotates, just enter the ID. And again, I needed to specify the name. So let's say I'm going to create a new group, which is A2. Oops. So this, I believe this one only you require. So group. So let's see. Okay, type another command group. Select the name first. I name this one as A2. Select the group, press enter, and then I can rerun back my script, manage, so run my script, rotate, and then you can see it is now movement. Okay, but for some reason, it is not. This one is still locked from here. So let me make some changes. Let's say I'm going to lock the size of this line over here. This line, and also this size over here as well. So again, run my script. So you can see it is now moved for this two item as well. Now I'm going to simulate this thing into this 3D model over here. Okay, so for the parametrics to work is that you need to have the drawing on the same plane, right? For example, if I go into 2D, so I have on the same plane, and if I go back to my parameters, I can consider both of these constraints. Right. But if I have this one on another plane, for example, this particular plane over here, right? Okay, so this one is still the same plane. So let me change this one. Okay, for some reason it does not want to go up. Okay, so maybe there's, okay, let me try again. So I have this. Okay, never mind. I just edit it from the properties over here. So let's say the axis is 20. Okay, around 2000. So same goes with this one. Okay, so you can see it is now not on the same plane, even though on the top side it looks like it connected, but you can see it is not connected. So if I try to do the parametrics, so if I use the consider constraint, apply from here and over here, so you can see it is not able to apply. So you need to have same plane. So let's take a look on this all direct over here. So there are a few movement that I would like to make. So 1, 2, and it will rotate based on this wheel over here. Right. So first of all, I needed to have a line first. I'm going to use the same method that I make over here. So to do that, I'm going to go to home. So to make my line more clearer, I have created a new layers line. I color the layer for green, and I set the line weight to be 0.5. So if I'm using these layers, so my line will be much clearer to see. Now, so let's start to enter our line. So the first line that I would like to show you, I would like to move, which is will be on this. So let me check first. So we'll be on this center point. So this center point. Oops. So this center point and connected to this center point and connected to this center point, or maybe I can just use this one. So for some reason it does not show. So let me just connect to this one. And lastly, on this particular point. Okay, let me see. Not get that one. Let me see if I can get center point from here. Right, so we have here. Okay, now you can see there are some problems that you can see over here. First of all, the line was not on the straight line on this plane over here. Right. So what you can do is that you can just right click, go to the properties and just change the Z axis over here. So set every Z axis into 0. So you can start to see that your line will be visible. So we have one line that already been set. So I'm going to set second line to 0 and then another into 0 as well. Right. So we have one, and then lastly, which is this line over here. So again, the properties set the Z direction to 0 and the other Z exists for the N into 0 as well. Now you can see it is now starting on the 0 plane for Z axis from here. So all we need to do is that we can just simply apply the same method that we have over here. Right, but not just yet, because we needed to create a block which will have the connection between this line and also this movement over here. So this line and this item over here, so I'm going to create a block. So I create block command, so BLOCK or block, press enter. I'm just going to name this one as, let's say, 1. Specify the repeat point, or you can just simply set as default. Okay. Do you want to redefine it? Right, so redefine. So if I click the line here, it will also highlight this item over here. So same goes with this one. So I'm going to select this line over here. So select this line. So I'm going to type block command. Block command. This one is 2. And also this one. Right, so this one, I think I can just simply leave it. So if I try to move this one, so you can see not only that I move this line, this one also move. So if I try to rotate, this item over here will rotate as well. So the next thing is I needed to apply the parametrics. So I'm going to lock in this one and also this one. So apply the lock command for this endpoint over here and also the endpoint at the bottom over here. And I needed to consider constraints, which will join this point and also this point, and also this point, and also this point as well. Now, if I try to move, it will able to move both of these. So let's try to animate it. So again, for animating, you need to have a group first. So I'm just going to rotate this one. So this is the only thing that I need to group. So run group command G, enter, select the name. So let's say I'm going to name this one as a G1, and select this item over here, press enter. So go back to my rotates, name this one as a G1. Then we needed to have the rotational point. So again, select ID command, press enter. So this will be the rotational point, right? So endpoint here, okay? So if I go back over here, just simply copy this. Right, so save. And if I try to go and run my script, so manage, run script, and my rotate, you can see it is now able to move right here. Right, so for this case, quite slow. So I'm going to increase, say about 5. And I'm going to save this one. And I'm going to rerun back again the script. So it is much faster than before. If I don't want, so I can, I don't want to see the line, so I can just simply close my uh, my line layers. Oops. Right, so apparently I accidentally applied this one as a layer for line as well. Right, but that is basically all that you need to do to animate your drawing. Right, so basically that is all for today. So if you have any questions, so you can just type in on the chat, or you can also unmute yourself. Right, so far, any other question from you guys? All right, so I believe no questions so far, and so we can just simply stop from here. So thank you everyone for joining. All right, so thank you CCW. All right, so thank you everyone. Thank you Muhammad Haikal, Muhammad Harry. So thank you Zam, Roland, YTCO. So thank you everyone for joining and joining our free online lesson. So I hope we can see you guys again on our next free online lesson. Thank you very much and have a nice day.